when you say I haven't done anything and I made money, what exactly does that mean for our viewers?
If they don't like people and they don't like helping people, well, then it's not going to be a good fit.
Talking about your business is the heart of any business. Good morning, everybody. Welcome to Munira's Musings. Greetings from Chicagoland. We have a guest today, Sheryl Scott. Hi, Sheryl. Welcome to Munira's Musings.
Good morning, Munira. So good to be here. Thank you for having me.
Yes, and you're calling us all the way from Ontario, right?
Correct. Yeah, just outside of Toronto.
That's awesome. So how's the weather over there?
Knock on wood, at the moment, the sun is out and the sky is blue, but you never know. 2 days ago, we had snow, so.
Great. So greetings from Chicagoland, everybody. Welcome to Munira's Musings, a podcast where one story can change the way you see the world. Each episode, we sit down with remarkable guests whose journeys open doors to insight, to growth, and often to a whole new perspective. These are real stories that spark real conversations, part storytelling, part soul searching, and always an invitation to grow. As you listen, think of a friend who'd love to join in and just not only to hear this, but also talk about it afterwards. Because the best stories don't end when the episode does. They live on in the conversations they start. So let's lean in and listen, because today's story might just be the spark you're waiting for. So tell us a little bit about yourself, Sheryl.
Well, interestingly enough, I'm on career number 3. I worked in advertising for a number of years. And specifically help wanted ads. So I was helping employers hire. That was pre-internet, so it gives you an idea of my generation. And then I sort of went to the other side of the table, became a career coach, and was helping folks find jobs. I've worked with students, I've worked with unemployed adults, and everything in between. It was hugely rewarding. I mean, I figured out along the way, the common thread in every job I had was that I loved to help people. Now, my last employment role was with a government agency, and unfortunately, and I imagine it's the same in the States, anytime you're working anything related to the government, you're doing way too much paperwork and not enough helping people.
Right.
So I loved what I did. I just wasn't necessarily loving where I was doing it at that point. And so a friend of mine told me about this amazing service called Legal Shield. It's affordable legal services and identity theft protection. And I thought, why the heck would I need that? Well, then I remembered my husband and I needed to get our wills and powers of attorney written. And we'd been putting it off because it's crazy expensive to do it with an attorney.
Right.
And so when I found out we could do it through this service for a small monthly membership fee, I said, sign us up. Well, I was working full time, and as time went on, I found I was recommending it to other people, particularly unemployed people who thought they'd been wrongfully dismissed. I mean, we could help them with everything related to job search, but not that. And I said, well, you really need to talk to a lawyer. And of course they said, lady, are you crazy? I just lost my job. I can't afford a lawyer. So I handed them my friend's card and said, well, you might use this Legal Shield thing, might work. Well, after I did that a bunch of times, she said, hey, stop handing out my card, join my team and make some money. Honestly, I said no a number of times because I didn't know what I didn't know. Finally, I stopped, took a look, listened to what she had to say, and thought, well, yeah, this could be a good little side gig while I'm working. And it was. I mean, I made some money not doing much of anything, just helping people, which is what I love. So when the government cut our funding and my job ended, not because we don't have unemployed people, but, our government makes decisions the same ways as yours and probably most, not based on logic. So I thought, hey, I made a little money not doing much of anything. Let's see what I can do if I actually focus. And as a career coach, job search didn't worry me, so I thought I can always look for a job later. Well, it's been, what are we now, almost 5 years? and I haven't had to look for another job, and I've been able to help people in so many ways. Oh, the numerous stories I could tell you. I've helped single moms, I've helped newly divorced dads, I've helped widows, like just so many people with things that they were feeling a little bit desperate about, and I was able to give them some hope and some guidance. But one of the reasons your show caught my attention is some of the folks that I love to help most are new and prospective business owners.
Right.
When I was a career coach, so many people said, oh, if I don't get a job, I'll just hang out a sign and be self-employed. And as their coach, I had to say, slow down. In theory, it's that simple. But if you actually need to make money, it's not that easy. I mean, everybody's good at their craft, but they don't necessarily know how to start and run a business. You know, it's not just, yes, a carpenter can work out of his garage, but beyond the woodworking, there's bookkeeping, there's accounting, there's the legal aspects, you know, the business registration, and, you know, what if they expand, and then payroll, and so many legal questions and things to navigate. So my underlying advice to almost everybody is do what you do best and rely on pros for the rest. And one of those things that they need a pro to help with would be running their business, marketing their business, finding their niche. And they should have a niche. Yes, I can help any adult over the age of 18. I can help them. Families, small businesses, solopreneurs, you name it. But who I love to help most is those new and prospective business owners. Because of my background, I can help them figure out, should they be an entrepreneur? Because not everybody should. And
so
then,
this is, sorry. So this is a business in a box, right? It's a kind of, they've got it all well-oiled business, and they've tried to get you so that you can start referring people to them. Isn't this called a marketing business? Oh, and so how does when you say I haven't done anything and I made money, what exactly does that mean for our viewers?
Well, it feels like I didn't do anything, but what I did was talk to people. All I did was the same thing my friend did, tell them about the service. And if it makes sense for them, I help them get signed up. Then the lawyers take it from there and look after all the legal stuff. You know, and then because I do a lot of my business through networking, I'm also able to refer them to good accountants or bookkeepers or virtual assistants, insurance folks, real estate agents, whoever else they need in that toolbox, or I say on their A team, to help them be successful. Anything that they don't do themselves, somebody to create a website, do their marketing, help them find their niche, you know, be it a business coach or a marketing expert. But I've learned through my own business that niche is very, very important. Yes, you can help everybody. Absolutely. And you should if they come to you. But in terms of marketing, if you don't have a niche, it becomes really, really difficult. When I'm at a chamber of commerce event, for instance, and they say, what do you do? It's easy to talk about what I do. But when they say, who do you help? If I just say everybody, nobody comes to mind. But when I say a new or prospective business owner, somebody that's thinking about starting a business or recently has, somebody might spring to mind, and I might get a referral. And the same thing is the opposite, right? If I'm there looking for other services, because I rely on experts for things that I don't know, if they say I can help everybody, nobody springs to mind. But if I say, hey, I'm looking specifically for this person, that's then somebody's niche. And if they say I specialize in that, great, that's who I want to do business with. Right. So niche is so important.
So now let's talk about, you said, so referral business is hard. Okay, everybody knows that. And being in business is hard in general. And one of the things that I know is marketing your business and talking about your business, and people are not even sure. So this is a business where the components are laid out. All you have to do is sign up, learn the components, and then start. From
Correct.
what I know. So
Yes,
tell
yes,
my
exactly.
viewers. So there's people who are learning how to start a business or want to start a business and have no clue as to why they should start this business. So why would this business be lucrative, and what knowledge would they need to start this business with you and join your team?
Well, it's really simple. They need a desire for something more, whether it's more time, more money, more interests, whatever it is. They're lacking something in their current life, particularly their working life. And so they want more. So they've got that desire. They need to be willing and able to learn and be coachable. And other than that, they've got to be, they need to have some decent English skills, because that's the only language I speak. Now, if they have other languages, I can maybe introduce them to somebody else. But that's it. And they've got to be willing to talk to people. If they don't like people and they don't like helping people, well, then it's not going to be a good fit. But the reality is, Legal Shield is not the only network marketing business out there. There's a lot. In fact, there's thousands. Now, are they all amazing? No, there's certainly good, bad, and ugly in every industry, whether it's doctors, accountants, insurance folks. I mean, you name it, there's good, bad, and ugly in every industry, and the same is true of ours. Thankfully, the ugly is usually weeded out, but there's, legal is not going to be exciting to everybody. Somebody else might get more excited about skincare and cosmetics. But if I'm talking to somebody and they want to start a business, I'll start there. What gets you excited? What services or products are you going to use that you're going to be excited to tell other people about? Because that's really all this job entails. And it doesn't matter which company you're with. Now, if you like to help people, then Legal Shield might be a good fit. If it's something else, then I can maybe refer them on, because there's thousands of companies. But you're right, it is very much a business in a box, because somebody starting a business doesn't have to start from scratch. They can, if they've invented something new or a different, cheaper, easier way to do it, well then great. But if they don't want all that headache and work, they could purchase an existing business, because obviously there's people that want to retire and get rid of their business or maybe switch businesses. There's franchises. That too is a business in a box. The challenge with both of those is that it often requires significant investment. Whereas network marketing, now there's a range, but there are a number of companies where it's a very small investment. And as you pointed out, it's literally a business in a box. You get all the training, you get all the tools, the marketing's already been decided, somebody else is looking after the accounting. I mean, it's a brilliant business model. I'm really surprised more MBA students don't study it.
Okay, I like that. So let's talk about the nitty-gritty. You touched on a really good point about talking about your business. When you say you just talk to people, what grabs your attention? How do you start a conversation when you are in a networking business? Because talking about your business is the heart of any business. You just need to be that person making phone calls all the time.
Right.
So how do you, in a networking scenario, how do you just go out there and talk to people? And of course, you've met one or two around, in a networking, you've seen one or two people around, but how do you start that conversation?
Well, it's just being friendly. My aim when I go to a trade show or a networking event, or even virtually, is to make friends, get to know them. What's going on in their life? What are their situations? What can I help with? And maybe it is legal or identity, but maybe it's not, in which case I can then introduce them to somebody else. Because I do so much networking and I get to know people, I've got a whole list of folks that I can refer to, and I'm comfortable doing so because I've gotten to know them and am confident that they're going to teach them the way I would. So I'm a connector. And maybe they don't need Legal Shield or ID Shield right now, but they might in the future, and they're going to remember me because I've helped them get those other connections or helped them in some other way. And maybe it's finding a job. I do still do a little bit of career coaching, volunteer, And again, they're going to remember me, or maybe they may never need Legal Shield. Maybe they've got a lawyer in the family, but somewhere along the way, they might meet somebody else who could use Legal Shield. And I've had lots of referrals from folks who aren't my customers. And that's got to be the greatest compliment ever, is to get referral business. But the key is just don't be shy, and it does take practice. I mean, I'm an introvert by nature. You'd never know it, but I've worked on it. I went to experts who do these sort of things and said, hey, what do you say when you're at a Chamber of Commerce event? How do you phrase this? What would you approach somebody with? And I've just gathered all that knowledge from other experts and put it into practice. Got out of my shell and just did it. And over time, I've perfected what I call an elevator pitch. How would you describe what you do in 30 seconds or less? Because what if, and the same is true with job search. Networking is a really, really valuable tool. 80% of jobs are never advertised. How are you supposed to find them? Networking. And networking doesn't mean going to a networking event. Networking just means talking to people and seeing who do they know that you don't know that you need to know. And ask for that introduction.
I have one question before we timing. It's just a wonderful thing. But the thing is, so when you are cold calling, what is it that you say to a person who you've never met before, not in an event or something, but I'm sure you cold call. So that's a question.
Very rarely. It is rare. I do enough networking that I don't need to cold call. And one of my mentors has said that cold calling is the punishment for not asking for referrals. And asking for a referral is simply, okay, I understand you're not interested now. Do you happen to know anybody else? And in my case, since I love dealing with small businesses and employee groups, I'll say, hey, who else do you know that's starting a new business? Who else do you know that has a handful of employees that I can maybe just talk to? And that's all I want to do, is have a conversation, because then I'm going to say the same thing to them. Who else do you know? So it's never a cold contact, very, very rarely. But if I've not met them, because a referral is sometimes cold, I can say, so-and-so gave me your name because they thought you might be interested in this service. Let me just tell you what it is. You may or may not, but perhaps you know somebody else. So it takes the pressure off. And all I'm doing is talking about what I love, and that's helping people, right? I can mention a couple of the features, or I can tell a couple stories of how I've helped people, and just watch the reaction and take the conversation from there. Ask about them, their business, just like you're doing. What do you do? How did you get started? Who do you help? Who's your target market? Who do you need to meet that I might know that you don't know that I can introduce you to? That's what networking's all about. And that's what network marketing is all about.
I appreciate you being here. So how do people find you, Sheryl?
The easiest way is probably on LinkedIn. That's where I spend a lot of time online. Or they can simply reach out to me directly. I'll make sure that you've got all my contact information. My name is Sheryl with an S, just like it is on the screen. So Sheryl Scott 15 at gmail.com. Okay. But they can also find me on LinkedIn. That's a really easy way to stay connected. Even, as I say, you're not looking for an opportunity, you're not looking for my services, that's fine. But let's meet, let's see who you know that I don't know, and vice versa, and maybe we can make some referrals. Because that truly is the gold in our business, right?
Right. So that is amazing, right? You have a business in a box, and it's not a business in a box. You have to work at it. It's not going to be something that you just get, it's not a Lego box that you open it. Even Legos, you have to open the box and put the whole pieces together. But the idea is that you don't have to go and create everything that is out there that you need to do for your business. This is a business that can get you off and running if you're really serious about it.
Absolutely. If you like to help people, that's what you get to do. If you want to make women beautiful, well, guess what? I can let you know about a lot a lot of other network marketing companies that could allow you to do that and give you my personal insights on them and make some introductions. So yeah, I would love to talk to each and every one of your listeners. This has been such a pleasure. You are a delight. You help so many people that I'll bet you don't even know they're out there listening.
Thank you so much, Sheryl. And that brings us to the end of this episode of Munira's Musings. I hope today's conversation gave you something to think about, maybe a fresh idea, a little encouragement, or just a new way of looking at the world or a business. If it did, why not pass it along to a friend and keep the conversation going? And if you hear more and if you'd like to hear more stories like this, please be sure to subscribe and click on the bell icon so the next one that's released is on its way to you. Thanks for spending time with us. Until next time, stay curious, stay open, keep making your mark, and I'll see you in the next episode. Bye, everybody. Bye, Sheryl. Thank you.
Thank you.